Yo, 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 welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. And before we get to our guest today, we have a big shout out for Living Sisu. Living Sisu is a platform and app that wants to give you all the tools to have success in your sport. Their main objective is to activate your lifestyle. So it's for active people. Enjoy discounts at companies like BioSteel, 30% off, Body Logics, the Goalie Guild, all his books are discounted. Roan, Lululemon for men, 20% off. Online stretching programs with Eccentrics, 1 full month free. They got super silent massage guns, 20% off those. And it's a great quality. It's way less expensive than a Theragun, and it's great quality. So there's so many more discounts that you guys will need to just become a member to see. So they want to provide you with anything you need for success. So come join the community. I'm a part of it. A bunch of other athletes are a part of it. So it's free to join. It takes 20 seconds to get exclusive offers to your sport, and it's definitely worth it. So do us a huge favor and go sign up for Living Sisu's membership. It's free, takes 20 seconds. So go do it, and we'll see you there. Living Sisu is a great company. We know one of the co-founders, Zach Fricali. He's a great guy. He's the co-founder. He does a lot of live streams on Instagram at Living Sisu, with a bunch of elite athletes, and you learn a lot from like the athletes' determination, their resiliency, everything to what made them become successful. So it's been a great experience so far. So go on. I'm gonna leave the link in the description. So go sign up. Yo, welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. I'm Jack, and I'm alongside my co-host Tyler. And in today's episode, we have a very special guest. We have current professional basketball player Jordan Blount. Jordan is currently playing professional basketball for Basket Navarra overseas in Spain. He spent the last 4 years playing NCAA basketball for University of Illinois at Chicago, so UIC here in Chicago, before going pro. Welcome to the show, Jordan Blount.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. We're very excited to have you on. You're our first professional basketball player on the podcast, so we're thankful to have you. So, how's it going, man?
Oh, good, man. Things are going good. Just out here now, just grinding away, a game a week, trying to get some wins on the board. Do what we need to do.
Hey, that's always a good sign. Just gotta keep grinding, no matter the process. Just
most definitely
gotta keep going.
How's it been different for you? Because, I mean, over here, there's a lot of different bubbles and stuff. So how do you guys go about playing your games during the coronavirus?
Man, if it wasn't for, like, everybody wearing masks, you wouldn't know that the coronavirus is kind of going on over here. I mean, we're playing behind closed doors, but we're traveling for away games. People are coming to our home court. Like, there's no talk of any type of bubble or anything like that. We're just conducting the season as normal, which is good because in a time where the world is in such a crazy place, it kind of sets and gives a bit of normality, which is a very welcome feeling. So yeah, I mean, we're still going about it the way we normally would as if it wasn't here.
Yeah, that's at least good. That's like you're getting some type of normalcy, even though like
most definitely,
this entire like pandemic, it's just brutal, especially like because you were in Chicago last year or in last spring with all this happening here in Chicago.
Yeah, so
Illinois,
I left like the week it all struck off. So we were playing in the conference championship of our conference, and that was on a Tuesday. I think it was like March 10th or 12th, and then that was on a Tuesday, and by that Friday I had to fly home because of the coronavirus. So it was a very quick turnaround, and I was right there when it all began to take the turn. So it was a crazy experience for sure.
Yeah. So like, what was that all about? Like you said, it was really fast. Like, how long did it take you like to get out, and just like what was the process in the airport as well? Because
so
everything happened.
It was a very eerie feeling traveling at that time. It was very much so like. So we had played on the Tuesday, and we had lost and came home. We were in Chicago on Wednesday, and on Thursday, myself and my girlfriend went to do grocery shopping to stock up for quarantine and stuff like that. And that was on a Thursday. And by Friday, they were like, okay, everything is shut down and we're about to stop all flights. So I had spoke with my head coach, Steve McLean at the time, and my athletic director. And I was like, look, season's finished. I'm a senior. I'm not coming back next year. If I'm to get stuck and locked down anywhere, I'd prefer for that to be in Ireland. You know what I mean? I'm leaving anyways in a couple of weeks. I may as well just go there and finish my class online. And very lucky that classes went online, and the school paid for me to fly home on that Saturday. And I got to the airport. It was actually really crazy. Actually, when I got to the airport, they were just shooting. So the CNN or the news or whatever was on, they were broadcasting. They went straight from the White House straight to the airport, and the interviewer just happened to like notice me. He was like, "Oh, you play for UIC, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Do you mind hopping on the camera real quick?" I'm like, "No, man, I love being on camera." So I hopped on, and they gave me a little quick interview and everything. And then after that, it was like, once I went past security, past all the hustle and bustle and everything, it was real airy. It was like people were very wary of each other, weren't close to each other. Like I was wearing gloves and a mask and everything. So it was a surreal experience, but definitely one to remember.
Yeah, you'll never forget that moment. Just like,
Yeah, exactly.
especially that's pretty cool that you're on the news though. You're becoming famous there. So
Yeah.
so that's always interesting when you get news be like, you want to come on to be on the camera? Of course you'll say yes, no matter what.
Always a welcome question.
Exactly. So like, what was Ireland like when you got there? Because like, obviously I'm guessing it was probably a lot different than the States.
Yeah, it was different to the States because I think in the States it was very abrupt. Not to say that it wasn't everywhere else, but I just feel like it was more boom, we got it, boom, everything shut down. Whereas in Ireland, it was kind of like gradual. So like when I first got there, you're only allowed within 2 kilometers of your house. You're only allowed out for very necessity things. Got to be for like working out or necessity trips and stuff like that. And then we kind of opened up a little bit. We had heard to the guidelines pretty strictly, and I feel like we did a good job in comparison to other countries. But I feel like the whole world now is going back a little bit, and we're all going back into like lockdown. So I know Ireland has upped their measures quite extensively, and I know, especially where I am right now, Spain is about to up their measures this coming week, I'm pretty sure. So it's definitely an ambiguous time to be involved in anything really, but it's we just got to take it day by day.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you can do, especially like in the summer. Like it was a lot more like free and like more open because like it was like warm and all that, and then like flu season, cold season hits. And
exactly.
Like,
yeah, and that's coming right
takes
up.
a step back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was always wondering, like in Ireland, like what was basketball like growing up and just like going to school there?
So I didn't go to school for a long time there. So I left Ireland when I just turned 15. So we don't do middle school, high school, all that kind of stuff. We just have primary school and secondary school. And I left in secondary school midway through. And basketball was basketball was the main part of my life since I was about 8 or 9 years old, and it always has been. But in terms of the country, especially looking back from when I began to do what I did, it wasn't as big as what it is now. I do believe that I was a trendsetter in the growth of the game in Ireland. I think so. I was one of the first guys to leave as young as I did, and before I left, I hadn't heard of many people leaving. And then after I left, there was a wave of us. I know there's Irish players playing all over, and I do enjoy the fact that I was one of the first guys to do it, and a lot of guys would reach out to me, and a lot of the guys that are away now would have close connections with me. So I think we're very much a growing country. I think the demand and the popularity for it is there. I think the exposure is on the rise. I think a couple of things need to change within the frameworks of how it is run in the country itself, but I think we're going in the right direction for sure. I think in a couple more years, as a nation, we'll be able to make some noise. This summer, I ran a bunch of clinics and basketball camps through my JB 13 Elite entity, so to speak. And that was my way of trying to give what I've learned on the court as well as off the court back to the Irish basketball community, the youth of the Irish basketball community.
Yeah. So how was the camps and clinics this summer? Because I know that you've been doing a lot of them
Yeah.
over the summer. So like, how
Yeah,
was it?
they were very successful. I had help from two main people in the background who really helped me in terms of the administration and the running of it and just the day-to-day, how to maneuver and coordinate everything. And it went very smooth. You know, we had a great location where we were the only ones there and nobody else had use of it. And then we had the use of the Neptune Stadium, which is the biggest stadium in the country and the nicest. So we were able to do it in a time, like I said, like during this COVID-19 situation, anytime you get a chance to do what you love in terms of like sports, anytime now that you get to be on the court, you have to take advantage of it because it can be taken away like that. So that's what I try to instill in my camps and clinics every day this summer. I'm like, look, guys, tomorrow is literally not promised. They could up these restrictions and might not be allowed in the gym. So while we're in here, we got to work our ass off. We got to get everything out of it that we can and take advantage of the people who's in here. So that's something I pride myself on the basketball court, just being a hard worker, doing everything I got to do to win. And that was something that I tried to instill in my campers and kids who came to clinic.
Yeah, for sure. Was there any like restrictions you guys had to abide by, like wear masks or anything like that?
There was restrictions, but for me, the restrictions didn't matter. So a lot of camps and a lot of clinics, you could get 30, 40, 50 kids, and some people go up to like 100, 120, 150 kids. And for me, it's very hard for me to give all of those kids all of my thoughts. So I can't help you the way I can help this person because you're not getting all of me. So how I ran mine was a clinic consisted of 3 days, 3 1.5-hour sessions each day. So like you would come at 9, you would finish at 10:30. The next day you come at 9, 10:30. And I would run it in groups of 4. So it was me and 4 individuals. So then that way I can nitpick every single one of you at the exact same time because I can see it now. I can analyze 4 people at a time. I can't analyze 25 people. So the restriction was 6 people in the gym. I only wanted 4, and that's how I had planned on running it. So I branded it JB Elite, and my way of keeping it elite was keeping it restricted to a certain number of players so they can get the best out of it that they can.
Yeah, that's just great that like you're just like 4 people like max and like just giving all your focus because you want in a camp to just have your focus on like players that are actually there.
And we were very strict. I was very strict on the wording that we used too. So when we were running it in groups of 4, that was a clinic because you come to a clinic to learn, to get better, to take all the information you can. A camp is fun. And that's where you go to be with your friends and, oh yeah, we all went to camp. But when you come to the elite clinic, well, this is what it's about. And it's not about anything else. You're here to get better.
Yeah, exactly. And I like what you said there and like how like you have to like every time you get a chance to go to the gym, like you got to do it now, especially with all this COVID stuff. And like you said, you never know when it's going to be taken away and the restrictions are going to go up. And we've definitely learned that throughout the course of the past like 8-9 months. So you definitely got to take advantage of every single thing you got, no matter if you want to do it or not. Like it's you're on the court, like you're in the gym, like you got to just
go. I mean, that's I never understand somebody who will come to the gym and just waste the time that you're there for. If you're here, you may as well get something out of it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
There's no point in being here doing nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Like the other day, like I was like the only one on the ice, and like I could have been like, I'm gonna go home, just not do anything, but instead, you take what the time you got and just put work in for the hour you have. So you just got to do it. Just no excuses at that point.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So let's go on to your prep school time. So you went to prep school in Ohio, I believe it was, right?
Yes, I went
so
to
how was
Spire Institute. It was fun, man. It was one of the most fun times of my basketball career. I was living in a 5-star golf resort I wasn't going to school. I was just playing basketball. Coaches were coming to see me every day. I took a bunch of visits to D1 schools, got a bunch of offers. And it was just basketball, man. All I had to do was play basketball. And it was a lot of fun. You know, went to Spire Institute, which is now a very much renowned school after a lot of big-time players had gone there. But I believe I was the first D1 player out of there, which is my own little claim to fame from that period of time, given, you know, the likes of LaMelo Ball and some of the big-time guys that they had. It's a pretty cool thing to say. But, yeah, I mean, prep school was a lot of fun, man. It was just straight hooping.
What was your mindset going into the prep school? And, like, did you expect, like, what you expected to get out of it?
Yeah, I did. You know, I've always been very, very confident in my abilities. And from the age of 15, 16, I knew that I had the ability and potential to be a Division I basketball player. And at which level, I just didn't know. So the summer before I went to prep school, I played in the European Championships with the Irish national team. And I ended up leading the tournament in scoring, and garnered a lot of attraction from there. And Georgia Tech offered me after one of my games. So I played against Denmark in Austria, and I had like 27 and 10. And Georgia Tech, one of the assistant coaches was there. His name is Mamadou Ndiaye. He actually played in the NBA a bunch of years. He came up to me after the game and he was like, "Hey, do you know who I am?" I'm like, I'm sorry, sir, I don't. And he had a GT polo on. And again, I didn't really know at the time. But I was like, oh, wow. And he's like, "Oh, assistant at Georgia Tech." And he's like, "We want you." And then the next day they offered me. And then a bunch more offers started rolling in. I'm like, man, I don't really, this was in August now, and they wanted me to commit by within a couple of days. I'm like, man, I don't really know where I want to go. And I had thoughts of just staying pro in Europe and not even going to college. So I went to prep school. I chose a prep school and went through that route so that I could explore, learn, and gather more information about where I was going to go.
Yeah, like that experience must have been just awesome for you, and just like the exposure you got, especially with Georgia Tech and all that. So like, how hard was it to like pick a school? Because then you decided to go to UIC. So like, how hard was it to knock off like all these other
Man,
opportunities?
you would think it's tough, and I mean it is tough. But like I took visits to a bunch of different schools, and was trying to think of all these impeccable reasons as to why I should go here and why I should go there. But it all came down to feeling, man. So like when I took my visit to Chicago, instantly I was like, oh yeah, man, I feel like I've already been here. You know what I mean? Like when I got picked up from the airport, the interactions with the players who picked me up and the assistant coach and everything, it was just, as soon as I got on campus and spoke with the head coach, it was like, man, I already feel like this feels right. You know what I mean? It was just all very much sensational, personal feelings that just fit right into what I wanted and what I was looking for. And yeah, worked out just how I wanted it to. You know, it came down to also like what I play. You know, I'm not beside myself, and I'm too cocky and confident as a person to sit down. Like, I can't not play because that would drive me crazy. So like, let's say I go to Georgia Tech, it's not guaranteed that I play there. I'm not saying it's guaranteed at UIC, but I know I have more of an opportunity to impose my will on the game and on the team there. You know, the margin for error is very little at a school like Georgia Tech, whereas at UIC there's a little bit more, which gives you a little bit more room to grow and learn and become the player that you need to. And I was blessed with a really good situation and got to play, and I started every game I played, averaged 25, 30 minutes, you know, so it ended up being the right decision for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're a part of the main UIC Flames core from 2016 2020. It's like, what was it like throughout like the 4 years that you were at UIC? Like,
Yeah,
what was the experience there?
man, it was good. And as the years like transcended and everything, it was like we were a young core. So like my first year playing, like we were our young guys, like our senior class that I graduated with, from our day one, we were the core. So it was really good to be a part of a rebuild situation where we could impact the game and everything in the way that we wanted to. And with the coach, we had a new coach right at that time too. Coach McLean, he had just started there, so it was quite opportunistic, very how to say, I'm trying to find the right word to captivate it, but it was very, I don't know how to say it, just everything fit right, new school, new city, all the guys are new, time to make a new trend, new, ways for the program. So it was really nice, man.
Yeah, the opportunity was there, and you took and rolled with it. And like you're a
Yeah.
stud in college, so like, what was your favorite part about playing in Chicago?
Man, the reason, my favorite part about playing in Chicago was the support that we got. In particular, myself, I got a lot of support, a lot of individual support, because of the reputation I had built for myself and everything. So it was, Chicago gets behind their own, and that was something that I really liked, and something I assimilate to Irish people. Like, Irish people love to see other Irish people doing well, and Chicago people love to see Chicago people, clubs, schools doing well. So it was, when we were doing well, the city, I felt like the city and the school was behind us. So once we were rolling and had, like, good trends and everything, I felt like it was a good environment, good atmosphere.
I have to ask this because I'm a little curious. What other schools did it come down to between, or before you made your decision to ultimately go to UIC? I know Georgia Tech was also in there, but what other schools were in your running for a possible commitment?
So again, so basically the last schools that I chose between was UIC, High Point University in North Carolina, Valpo. I was very high up on Valpo. And yeah, that's pretty. Toledo was in there. I thought I was about to get an offer from Baylor, but I committed too early to see the fruition of that. But yeah, I had I had offers from schools that I didn't even know I had offers from. Like, I looked up on, like, I saw on the internet, like, oh, Jordan Blount received an offer from this school. I was like, I didn't even know. Thank you. But yeah, it was there was a couple of schools in there for sure.
Yeah, those are some pretty high up schools. So we're glad that you chose Chicago to represent, to have you represented. So that's awesome
Thank
that you
you.
chose UIC, and you really like was a stud there. So it's always good.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So what was your favorite like hangout spot in Chicago? Like, it could be like a favorite restaurant, favorite store, like, or like the Bean. Like, where would you go?
Yeah, White Palace Grill off Canal Street. Man, after some games or on a day off, you get a lot of food, a lot of play. Their servings in there are good. So I used to go there all the time. Where else did I like to go to? I like to go down to the lake. I used to take bike rides down to the lake. That was a lot of fun. So yeah, the lake, and just a couple of food spots that I liked. I
Yeah.
like
So
Portillo's too.
yeah. Oh
Portillo's
yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
good.
So what's your favorite food?
My favorite food? Oof.
Yeah.
So my girlfriend used to cook a lot of different, like, Mediterranean dishes, a lot of foreign stuff. So man, I like a lot of rice-based dishes, chicken and rice. Any type of chicken and rice combo, I'm rocking with. Chicken
Chicken
biryani.
and rice hit the spot.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
It really does, and it's super good. So throughout your time at UIC, you had one really bad injury where you needed to get surgery and you
Yeah.
missed some basketball time. So like, how hard
Sure.
was it for you to miss a ton of the season? Like, what was like your mindset overall throughout the process?
Man, I mean, it wasn't. I mean, man, ACLs are tough. I tore my ACL and both meniscus in my left leg.
Ooh.
So I definitely went through it, but man, I was never negative. Like, I had a day or two here and there, but the people that were around me during that time really held me down and really, like, made sure that, like, they wanted the best for me and did everything that they needed to make sure I needed to do what I did. And again, like, I don't want to downplay it, but man, it was never crazy strenuous for me. I had great physio and rehab people, and it was just work, man. That's all it is, just work. You just got to work at it. When nothing else works, work works, So just hard work every single day, rehab 2-3 times a day, and just staying at it, man. Keeping my head down and doing what I need to do to get on the court.
Yeah, was it hard to go to rehab like 2 to 3 times a day, or were you just like, this is my opportunity to get better and like
Yeah,
help this injury get better and like finally get back on the court?
Yeah, for me, it is what it is. I tore my ACL on June 10th, confirmed it on June 12th, and then got surgery on the 27th. And right after surgery, I was like, well, it's fixed now. I just got to make it stronger. So I didn't waste no time. The very next day, I went to rehab, and I just accepted it for what it was. I didn't get down to myself. I didn't get upset. It was just, look, I've been through stuff before, nothing like this, but this is just the next step. And the one thing for me going through my rehab is that I wanted to make sure that when I came back, nobody could say, well, he wasn't as good as he was because of his knee. I didn't want that to ever be an excuse. So that was kind of what drove me and what fueled me. And just me wanting to come back. Like, I came back from an ACL and meniscus tear in 5.5 months. That's kind of unheard of. Most people take a year and a half, 2 years. But man, it was just, like I said, just work. And I take pride in my work. So I was very proud of what I was able to achieve in my rehab.
Yeah, so when you came back to play your first game since your injury, like, were you nervous, or like how hard was coming back to that first game?
Yeah, not nervous, man. It felt righteous. Like, I just spoke to myself. I was like, look, Jordan, talking to myself, Jordan, you did the work. You've been physically cleared. Don't think about it. The doctors know what they're talking about. I had a great doctor, Dr. Mark Hutchinson, who was actually the doctor for the Olympic USA team. And Jenny Williams, my physio, and I have full faith in them. And when they tell me like, yeah, you're clear to go, okay, let's rock.
Yeah, that's awesome that you're able to make a full recovery and come back during the season. So like that's unheard of, like you said, and just to do that.
Yeah,
so
I tore it early summer, middle summer. I got surgery middle summer, and then I had only missed non-conference. I actually played 2 non-conference games, so I only missed 8 games.
It's not bad. So that's incredible. So
I was determined.
Exactly. And then after your senior year, you went on to play pro basketball for Basket Navarra, where you are now in Spain.
Yeah.
Like, how has that been so far? And like, what are some of your expectations for the rest of the year?
Yeah, good. My role is very different here. My role at UIC was to be a glue guy, score when I needed to, pass when I needed to. It was very much trying to be a consistent team guy. Wasn't looked to score 15, 20 points a game because that wasn't my role, whereas here it is. So last night we played. Unfortunately, we ended up losing by 10. But I scored 24 points on like 9 of 13 from the field. So it's a very much different role from UIC, but more of a role that I was used to before I went to college. When I played in Europe before, I was very much a scorer, led Europe in scoring for a number of years. So it's kind of trying to get back to that and get back to being a go-to scorer, which I enjoy. I love it. I like having the ball in my hands, like making decisions. So I feel like I'm fitting right in, and my expectations are high, man. We've lost our first 2 games where we were up against arguably the top 2 teams in the league, and I feel like we have a lot of untapped potential as a team. So my expectations are still very high, and I think we can make noise. So yeah, we'll see as the season unfolds.
Yeah, despite you saying that you were kind of a go-to guy before UIC, was there still kind of an adjustment process from, going to UIC and not being the guy to then going pro overseas and then being the guy? even though you said you were familiar with it, was there still that adjustment process of, readjusting your game back to what it?
Kind of, I guess. For me, I think every time you step on the floor, you gotta be ready to play. So like even in UIC, like there was games I had 27, 20 points, 18. You know what I mean? There was times I had that because that was what the game demanded of me on that day. So for me, you just got to be ready to do whatever's needed of you on the day. My first game here, I had a really poor game and I couldn't score the way I should have. So I did something else. I got some steals. I got some rebounds. You got to find different ways to contribute to winning. So yeah, for me, it's just about like knowing where, when to pick your spots, when to pick your shots, and knowing what you're good at. You know what I mean? I know there's 2 or 3 things that I am really good at, and those 2 or 3 things I have to become really, really good at. You know what I mean? That's got to be my go-to stuff. And when things are going bad, that's what I get to, so that I can always contribute in the right way.
Yeah, despite how you said your first game didn't really go the way you wanted it to, and you put up 24 points yesterday, so that's a big improvement, and you just got to keep using that momentum to keep you moving forward and going on the rest of the season.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so my final question for the day is what do you like to do like outside of basketball in Spain? Like what's there to do?
Man, so for me, I like to go. So I love coffee. I love tea. I'm very much an old soul. I'm a young guy, but I like to do, very simple things. So I like to go to different little coffee shops, chill out. I got my PlayStation here. I play my PlayStation in my free time. Do a lot of stretching, a lot of mobility, a lot of yoga, but not a whole lot, man. It's very much a job. You know what I mean? You go to practice, you come back, and you get ready for practice again. Then you go to sleep because you got to be ready for practice tomorrow. And then you practice because you got to be ready for the game. You know what I mean? So it's very much doing everything you need to do to contribute to you being the best player you can. You know what I mean? So there's not a lot of messing around for me anyhow. You know what I mean? That's how I like to conduct myself, especially now that, this is my livelihood. This is what I want to do for a living. So I have to conduct myself in a way that allows me to make this my livelihood.
Yeah, exactly. I like that mindset, and like how you're just it's a job now. You just got to do anything you can to just stay there and just keep putting in the work. Just there's times to have fun, but your overall job is just to work and play basketball. So
exactly, man. Exactly.
What a lifestyle though.
I'm blessed. I'm very lucky, very blessed. I'm very thankful for your opportunity for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So Tyler, do you have any more last minute questions before we get this thing done?
Yeah, sure. I got 2 more for you, Jordan. One, I see you got a Los Angeles Clippers shirt on there. You got a
I'm
favorite
not a Clippers fan at all.
You're not? No. Okay.
My assistant coach, huh?
Do you perhaps have a favorite team you root for?
Yeah, the Mavs. Yeah, big Luka fan. I think Luka's incredible.
All right. Well, I'll be anxious to see what they're able to pull off. My second question is, you seem like you're a very outgoing, very genuine and honest guy. So, my thought was on the court, you take your outgoing personality and you are put into a situation where you have to mesh well with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And so being with your outgoing personality, was it really easy for you to kind of like build relationships with your teammates, with your coaches, and just really fit well?
I think I'm the kind of player that if you ask anybody I've played with, they'll say, man, I love to play with him, but I would hate to play against that dude. You know what I mean? And that's something I prided myself on. And you know what I mean? There's things that I can't control. You know what I mean? Like when I play, I can't control whether the ball goes in the basket every single time. You know what I mean? Like it's not going to happen. Sometimes I'm going to come out and have a bad day. The ball's going to bounce off my foot. But there's one thing I can always do, and that's play hard and give my all on the defensive end and be an energy guy. You know what I mean? So that's something that I've prided myself on, but not just for me, but for whoever's coming next. Because and a lot of people wouldn't think about it like this, but I'm a very like in-depth critical thinker. So whenever I was playing and the team is doing scout and they're like, okay, well, this is 7-5. This is their point guard. He's from da-da-da. And then when they got to me, I always wanted them to say, this is the Irish kid, and he plays harder than a mother. So that meant for me that Well, now whenever any of these guys that I play against, and you look at all the teams that I played against 10, 30, 40 non-conference teams plus, so that's 40 games, and then 20, 40, 60, 80 conference games against all those teams and all those players and all those coaches who have to go up against me, all got the impression of this Irish kid plays harder than anyone on the court. So now when any one of those people from any of those experiences meet another Irish person, they will have an impression of me. So that means when they go to the next Irish person, well, you remember that Irish kid? He played hard as hell. I'm sure this guy plays just as hard. You know what I mean? So try and instill that into, like, when you see an Irish basketball player on the roster or when you come across an Irish basketball player, these are the expectations that we have. So that was something I wanted to. I wanted to always uphold and represent my country in the right way, in a way that showed the fighting nation that we are.
Yeah, so that was awesome what you just said there. And I did come up with one more question. And my last question for you of the day is, what are some tips you would give younger basketball players looking to get to that next level that you are at?
When it comes to that topic and that conversation, people always want, like, the magic potion or tell me this one thing that's going to make me the greatest player ever. There's nothing that's going to do that. You know what I mean? I can't tell you one thing to make you go and become a D1 player, become a D2 player. There's nothing I can do to make you do that. But in order for you to be the best version of yourself and the best version that you can be, the only thing that works is work. You know what I mean? Like, you have to work every single day. You know, that's the only reason why I've been able to get to where I've gotten to, is because everywhere I've been, I've just worked as hard as I could. So the main bit of advice that I could give to anybody trying to make it to the next level or just trying to improve or try to, you know, better themselves on or off the court, is just, man, be true to yourself, be humble, know your worth, and work as hard as you can every single time. Every single time you get an opportunity to show how hard you can work, make sure you do it.
Exactly. That's just awesome to end this. And, like, you just got to put in the work, just keep working, keep grinding it out, and just do the best you can do and be the best version of yourself you can be just by doing all that, and just believing in yourself as well. Like, that confidence is huge as well. So you just got to keep all that up.
Yes, sir. 100%.
Yeah. So Jordan, thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate your time. Want to wish you the best of luck with the rest of the season, and you will for sure be a recurring guest if you would want on the show.
My guy, thank you very much. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. We're glad to get you on. And, like, next time if you're ever in Chicago, just hit us up and we'd hang out or something. Hang out with the Miss Called boys as well.
Yeah, my guys over there. Shout out to Cub. Shout out to Ryan Sauce.
There we go. Jordan, thank you again so much, and enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you.